The smoke may have cleared, but there are still issues lingering after the Cobb dorm fire. For one, did the fire alarms work? We have the latest. And what's happened to all of those students on the 4th floor who had to move out? We'll tell you. And love your social media? It's all fun and games, right? Well, until it costs you your job. We've got the story. All that and more, Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
It's been a week and still questions linger about that fire at Cobb Dorm. Still no official cause. And tonight, at least one student is saying the fire alarms failed in her part of the dorm. Officials are disputing that. Stephanie Lopez is standing by live outside of Cobb with that story, plus a report on how students are coping. Stephanie.
There are a lot of questions, Landon, and some students have some answers. But as the students of the 4th floor of Cobb find new homes and the investigation continues, we take a look at one of the questions you just asked. Did the fire alarms go off at the time of the fire? Emily Palmer has that story.
Ann Doan was in her room when the fire broke out. She got out safely, but she maintains the fire alarm closest to her room didn't go off.
It sounded a lot like a phone vibration on the desk. So you know how if you have the phone on the desk, it's a lot louder than if you're holding it in your hand.
We toured Cobb Dormitory with Fire Marshal Billy Mitchell, who showed us how the alarms work inside the building.
Cobb Dorm has everything that can be offered as far as the safety features. It's fully sprinkled. It has a fully fire alarm system. It has fire extinguishers throughout the building.
When the fire alarm works properly, the strobe light flashes and it makes a loud beeping sound. The fire marshal tells us that Cobb passed its last fire inspection, but the question is, did every alarm work properly on the day of the fire?
Every feature of the dorm went off and worked well during the fire. I mean, we had no injuries. Everybody evacuated in a timely manner like they should.
We spoke with other students who lived in Cobb. They said they were able to hear the alarm.
Sounds like car alarm. Yeah.
How loud was it?
It's really loud.
And students on the 2nd floor could also hear the alarm.
I didn't notice any difference in the fire alarm, honestly.
But from where Doan lived, close to the most damaged rooms, she says she only got out because of the alarms on the other side of the building.
I know on the other side of Cobb, I could see the fire alarm going off on that side, but my side, the fire alarm wasn't triggered.
Mitchell says regardless, for residents on the first 3 floors who moved back in over the weekend, the dormitory is safe.
We checked the fire alarm system before we opened it back up for the kids to come back in after the fire. And I personally know that every one of them's working because I walked the building to see.
But Doan says she thinks more needs to be done. She says every room should have an alarm, like other dorm rooms on campus. I'm Emily Palmer, reporting in Chapel Hill.
See how students are adjusting, literally, after the smoke is cleared. After the Cobb fire, some students were able to move back into their rooms over the weekend. Other students weren't so lucky, mainly the students on the 4th floor. Continuing our coverage of the fire, Margarita Panavong sees how students were able to adjust, literally, after the smoke has cleared.
Go.
You will not be able to return to the building for the rest of the academic year. Okay?
Leaving residents with no choice but to pack up and move out, lining up in search for a new roof over their heads where the fire had left none. Jade Andrews, who lived on the 4th floor of Cobb, was one of these students.
A lot of people on campus were telling me that they were like, hey, it was that bad? It's like, yeah, it was that bad.
For Andrews and the 75 other girls on the 4th floor, their move is permanent, at least for this year, affecting their lives and the lives of their new roommates.
I scared my roommate half to death, like she almost fell back in their chair.
Rick Bradley is the Associate Director of Housing and Residential Education.
They could put themselves in the other shoes. We would hope that they would be welcoming.
Now, Andrews is trying to adjust to the life in Craig and to the added stress that has come in the aftermath of the fire.
It's more traumatic than I thought it was going to be, because last night I was like, wow, I can't even sleep. I got nauseous.
Dr. Maureen Windle is Associate Director and Clinical Director of Counseling and Psychological Services. She says this is normal and hopes students will take advantage of counseling opportunities on campus.
We want to encourage students to come in at any point in time to CAPS.
Though the moving process and living out of trash bags isn't ideal,
This is it. This is the trash bag.
Andrews is still grateful.
We just need to be really, really thankful that we're all alive.
A sentiment shared as residents remain Cobb strong. In Chapel Hill, I'm Margarita Ponvong.
If students are unhappy with their new rooms, they can talk to housing officials, or they will work with them on a case-by-case basis. Landon?
Thanks for the update, Stephanie. More indictments in that UNC football scandal. An Orange County grand jury has indicted Michael Wayne Johnson Jr. and Willie James Barley Jr. That's according to the clerk of court's office in Hillsborough. Investigators believe the two helped provide improper benefits to former UNC football players. That makes 5 indictments so far. Johnson is a former North Carolina Central football player. Barley is associated with one of the sports agents in the case. And we continue our look into the death of David Shannon, the first semester freshman who fell to his death last year. Police continue to think there were people with him the night that he died. You heard those chilling 911 calls of his friends trying to revive him last week. But how did they find him, and what took them so long?
David Shannon was missing for a day before his friends found him here on Saturday, October 27th at 10:34 at night. But how did they locate him?
We tracked his phone location. We just found him at a construction site on Guthrie Avenue.
Police say his friends found Shannon by using an iPhone app called Find My Friends, like I have here. In order for this to work, Shannon would have had to have his phone on at some point while at the concrete plant in order for his phone to register the location.
The police report says his last known location was at this house on Macaulay Street at 9 p.m. the night before.
Did you guys witness him pass out, or you just found him like this?
I promise you, no one has talked to him in a full day, and we just found him right now.
You might remember October 27th, the UNC versus NC State game when Giovanni Bernard made that epic touchdown, pulling the Heels through to victory. Shannon was supposed to be at that game and at the tailgate that morning. The reports say Shannon had multiple messages from people trying to reach out to him, including his family. Captain Chris Atack believes he knows where to find some missing details.
There are people who are with David that will have information that will kind of shed light on that, on those last few hours.
Shannon's last known response was an outgoing text message sent at 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning. His friends made the 911 calls later that evening at 10:34 p.m. Police searched Shannon's phone in hopes to get more answers, but they reached a dead end.
Somebody, sometime, their conscience will bother them. You know, you have a dead friend and you are not cooperating. What does that say about you?
Silent on all of this are the officials with the university. Well, no matter the pleas from the Carrboro Police, there's really very little the university can do. That story next week as we continue to look into the death of David Shannon. If you have classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next fall, your schedule might look a little different. The College of Arts and Sciences wants to give students a 15-minute break in between those classes rather than the 10 that they have right now. 8 o'clock classes stay at the same time, but instead of a 9 o'clock class, you'll have a 9:05 class and so on throughout the day, every hour and 5 minutes. Again, this is to give students a 15-minute break in between those classes rather than the traditional 10 minutes. The last classes of the day will be at 4:40. The various schools like journalism or education are trying to figure out how this will impact students' schedules. The transition to college can be a challenge. That's a situation 900 UNC transfer students find themselves in each year. And the transition can be tough for some of those students. There's a program designed to help ease the move into Carolina. Reporter Janelle Davis, a transfer student herself, has that story.
After he was diagnosed with a learning disability, Brian Woodward thought he would never be a Tar Heel.
I never imagined going to a 4-year university.
Woodward was in C-STEP, Carolina Student Transfer Excellence Program, a program that provides financial support and guarantees admission for low to moderate income community college students who want to transfer to UNC. When the program began in 2006, Carolina partnered with 3 community colleges. Now, there are 9. Woodard says the program changed his life, and now C-STEP is his employer. Woodard works with almost 450 students in C-STEP, including senior biology major Bryant Eglinger.
C-STEP provides that bridge that takes you from the community college level to the university level.
Eglinger remembers that bridge well, but says crossing it is a challenge for any transfer.
When you come in as a junior, everybody's kind of already running. They're in their classes, they know the system, they know the routine, and it feels like you get put on a treadmill going really fast while you're still standing still.
This is where C-STEP comes in. The program connects students with mentors, provides one-on-one support, and hosts informational events. Program Director Becky Edgebert says seeing the students exceed their own expectations makes it all worthwhile.
I've been working here for 16 years now, and this really has been the project, the thing that has kept me here, that has really made me excited to come to work.
So is this working? The 3-year graduation rate for C-STEP is 79%, which is 4% higher than in-state community college transfers not in the program. But for Woodard and Eglinger, earning a UNC diploma is something you can't put a number on. Reporting in Chapel Hill, I'm Janelle Davis.
To be eligible for the program, students must have an associate's degree at a partner community college and at least a 3.0 GPA. The student must also have a household income at or below 300% of the federal poverty level, which is less than $70,000 for a family of 4. And you've been hearing about trans fats lately and how it can affect your health. Millions of people in the United States suffer from heart disease, and the Food and Drug Administration points to diet as the reason heart disease is an epidemic in this country, and it thinks trans fats are a big part of the problem. Delia D'Ambra tells us the latest.
Donuts, crackers, pastries, snack food favorites, that ingredients may be changing sooner than we think. The Food and Drug Administration is proposing a ban on foods with trans fats. UNC cardiologist Ross Simpson understands why.
They seem to cause hardening of the arteries at a faster rate than even saturated fats do.
Trans fats extend the shelf life of products as an artificial preservative, but once inside the body,
it tends to raise the cholesterol levels in our blood.
Simpson says people often make the mistake of picking a healthy bread type, like wheat bread, but then prepare it with an unhealthy trans fatty spread.
Since 2006, most fast food chains and manufacturers of prepackaged goods have tried to eliminate trans fats completely. Here at UNC, dining halls have become trans fat free, even the desserts. Carolina Dining's registered dietitian, Kelly McGowan.
We try to make sure that our butter doesn't contain trans fats, and because we know that desserts tend to have those trans fats in them.
Some trans fats still pop up around campus, though.
The only time you will find trans fats are in any of our maybe marketplaces or grab-and-go retail that are prepackaged.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention projects that reducing trans fats could prevent 20,000 heart attacks and 7,000 deaths a year. Simpson agrees.
It's important to reduce or eliminate trans fats in our diet. I think these are bad foods for all of us.
And his advice for steering clear of these artery-clogging fats?
Read the labels. The labels will tell you if there's trans fats in them.
And if the amount that's in them is worth closing the door on altogether. Reporting in Chapel Hill, I'm Delia D'Ambra.
There are 54 days left in the 60-day comment period before the FDA will make official ruling on whether trans fats will be eliminated on all food products. Spend a lot of time on here, you're not alone, but what you post might cost you more than just your reputation. We've got the story next.
Be sure to check out Carolina Week online at carolinaweek.org. Connect with us online by liking the Carolina Week Facebook page and following us on Twitter at Carolina Week UNC.
Hey, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, there is a lot of social media platforms out there. They're fun to use, but could they cost you a job? Madison Way reports they can.
UNC senior Olivia Hart is a PR major who produces and shares content all day, every day. Through her social media, that is.
I usually tweet throughout the day, maybe 5 or 6 times, depending on the day. And I post to things like Instagram about once a week.
But Hart's followers aren't the only ones checking up on her social media. Potential employers are too. That's why Hart is cleaning up her online act.
I had tried from the beginning to monitor what I was putting and make sure it's not something that I would be ashamed or embarrassed by.
Hart's caution is warranted. Last month, a Michigan woman said she was fired over a tweet that contained a picture of her Halloween costume. She was dressed as a Boston Marathon victim.
That's an extreme case, but with so many social media platforms, what you say on here
could really go viral. Rebecca Hoff works for UNC Career Services. She thinks she knows what causes social media mess-ups.
I think just generally not being aware of what's being posted either about them or pictures they're being tagged in. I think that's how students find themselves in sticky situations.
So what should students do? New media technology professor Gary Kay says students should take a look at themselves online.
I think they should spend some time looking at their Facebook profile and their Twitter account and make sure that there's nothing on there that they wouldn't want their parents to read or their employer to read.
And parents do look at Twitter. Just ask Hart.
My dad told me later that he actually found my Twitter because it's public and he looks at it. So especially after that, it's something that I try to keep it appropriate.
So maybe students should think before they tweet. In Chapel Hill, I'm Madison Way.
If you've been around here for 2 or 3 years, you know the university has had its share of public relations problems. NCAA violations, phantom classes, and all of that. Well, the university has made a move indicating it is trying to address the issues. Joel Curran will be UNC's Vice Chancellor of Communication and Public Affairs. That places Curran at the same level as other key administrators with the university. Curran graduated from Carolina in 1986. He has a long career history with top public relations firms. And did you know that UNC is a monarchy? Well, sort of. At last weekend's homecoming game, 2 seniors were crowned Carolina royalty. Mike Jones and Kristen Ballard were voted Mr. and Miss by the student body. Each student ran on a platform promising to donate the awarded $500 to a cause of their choice. Ballard will donate to Camp Kesem, a camp for kids with cancer. Jones is helping to create a monument to honor anyone who lost their life while attending the university. It's called Fallen Tar Heels. And it looks like winter came overnight, so is it time to bring out those jackets and coats just yet? Catherine Thompson has the weather coming up.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look! Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brushy brush your teeth. Just got your almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm meteorologist Catherine Thompson with your forecast for today. Now, it has been extremely cold today. We only got up into the 40s, so it actually felt like winter outside. But believe me, it's going to get warmer later on. Maybe it's into tomorrow, but tonight is going to be another cold one. By 8 o'clock tonight, we'll be at 36 degrees as you're coming back from dinner. So definitely bundle up if you are heading out tonight, as well as tomorrow morning for school, because by 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll still be at 30 degrees below freezing. Again, though, sunshine will accompany us throughout the day, and we will be warming back up into the 50s, definitely warmer than we were today. By 12 o'clock lunchtime, we'll be at 50 degrees tomorrow. Now, a Canadian high-pressure system has made its way down into the southeast right now, and that's why we are so clear. We can see virtually no cloud cover across the southeastern states on the satellite image right now, except for some cloud cover off to the coast here. This is, again, because of this high-pressure system. There it is. There's what I'm talking about. And by Friday, that's going to push off to our coast towards the east. With high-pressure systems, you get clockwise flow around the high-pressure system. So that is going to bring some more moisture and some warmer air back into the area by Friday and heading into the weekend. So relief is on the way. Again, for tonight, though, cold one out there, overnight low of 27 degrees. So get the hot chocolate out. It is going to be a night necessary for that. Winds will be calm, though. So again, not any wind chill to worry about tonight. So it will be, again, cold, but not too bad in the next few days. As you can see, our high tomorrow will be 56 degrees, warmer temperatures on the way with that high pressure system, of course, and the flow. And by Friday night, if you are going off to the game on Friday versus Holy Cross, it's going to be around 52 degrees by the start of the game. By the end of the game, it'll be around 50, so definitely warmer than what we're seeing today. Our extended forecast looking great, 56 degrees for the high again tomorrow. Sunny skies in the forecast. Partly cloudy on Friday. Again, some cloud cover starting to creep back into our area on Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back in the 60s, though, so the warmth is returning.
Well, you certainly brought the cold weather, though. I was asking last week when it would come, and it came. Was that snow?
Came. Yes, I did see a few flakes. We did see several around the Greensboro, around Raleigh. So, yes, it was actually snow. But winter is on its way. It's not quite here yet. It's not quite January yet. So it was just a little blooper, I guess, in the weather.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Catherine.
Thank you.
The football season may have turned around for the Tar Heels, and this versatile freshman has had a lot to do with it. His story coming up in sports.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best, a team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe, because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Allie Massione. The number 12 women's basketball team took their first loss of the season Monday night against number 4 Tennessee. What started out as a close game soon turned into a three-point shootout by the Lady Volunteers. Despite a stellar performance by freshman guard Alicia Gray, junior guard Ariel Massengale led Tennessee with 20 points, 15 of those from beyond the arc. The loss comes less than a week after Coach Sylvia Hatchell's release from the UNC Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center. She wasn't at the game, but we talked with her after her release.
But I feel really good. My numbers are great right now. In fact, they were a whole lot better than when I came in here, and I felt good when I came in.
Despite an 84-61 win over Oakland last week, men's basketball fans are worried. Key starter P.J. Hairston missed the game due to an ongoing compliance issue with the NCAA. No word as to when Hairston will return. The men's basketball team wasn't the only one playing without a key starter last weekend. UNC faced Virginia in their first game since senior quarterback Bryn Renner's season-ending injury. Wearing Renner's number 2 jersey, sophomore quarterback Marquise Williams knew he had some big shoes to fill, and he did so with this touchdown pass to receiver Quinshaw Davis early in the game. But Williams was just warming up. With 6 seconds left in the first quarter, Williams hands off the ball, a reverse to Davis, who throws for a touchdown to, you guessed it, Williams himself. Here in the third quarter, Williams scores again with this 3-yard touchdown run. Williams recorded a rushing, receiving, and 2 passing touchdowns in UNC's 45-14 win over the Cavaliers. Although it was the Marquise Williams show, freshman Ryan Switzer shared the spotlight. Nicole Comparato has his story.
Last week, Coach Larry Fedora said he thought Ryan Switzer had the ability to take a punt return all the way into the house sometime this season. And then there was Saturday. The freshman wide receiver came up with this 85-yard response against Virginia. But based on how coaches view the West Virginia native, no one should be that surprised.
I'm here to do whatever they ask me to do, whatever they want me to do. I'm versatile. I'm a versatile guy. That's why I came here to play in this kind of offense. So, I'm able to do multiple things, and they're taking advantage of it.
And boy, has UNC football taken advantage of it. So far this season, Switzer has caught a 13-yard pass for a touchdown, played quarterback for a play and threw his own 59-yard touchdown pass, and then he tacked on this 3rd touchdown on Saturday.
He makes big plays. He's extremely dynamic guy when the ball is in his hands. So you just kind of hold your breath and wait for the next thing to happen when he's going to get the ball.
Fedora says Switzer's versatility is due to his experience in different positions.
He's a kid that we knew when we recruited. We were looking, we knew he would be a piece of the puzzle that we could do a lot of different things with.
Switzer says he had 22 offers coming out of high school, but UNC just felt like the right fit. Going forward, Switzer says he has dreams of playing in the NFL, but he also has a lot left to learn.
I'm still a freshman. I'm still just turned 19 years old, so I'm still pretty young, and I know there's a lot of things I can improve on. That's why I'm here. That's why I've got 2 or 3 years left of playing football in college.
And in those next few years, UNC fans hope to see a lot more of this. In Chapel Hill, I'm Nicole Comparato.
Switzer's 85-yard punt return was the 4th longest in UNC history. He'll take the field again this Saturday when the Heels travel to Pittsburgh. Just 3 games left in the season, and we only need 2 more to make it to a bowl game, 2 wins to make it to a bowl game.
Well, hopefully we can do it this weekend, and we'll be bowling in December.
Fingers crossed.
Thanks, Allie. This time capsule was from 1988. We'll show you what's inside next.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
It's not every day you get a glimpse into the past, but this homecoming weekend, UNC students got to do just that. UNC welcomed back the class of 1988. Members of the class and others gathered on Polk Place to witness the opening of a time capsule buried 25 years ago. UNC staff brought in special equipment to unearth the treasures, all found about 6 feet below this plaque. Even Chancellor Folk got in on the action. She started grabbing a shovel and digging. After 45 minutes, they finally found the time capsule, an old beer keg. Among the items found were a 1 card, Sports Illustrated magazines, a record, and a cup from Bub O'Malley's. And that does it for this edition of Carolina Week. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.